Though the party has been in existence since 2006 and had made little impact in the Nigerian political space, it is coming back with the backing of former President Obasanjo, which has thrown it into major limelight. How ready is the party to grasp power from the ruling APC? Well, now let's speak to Dr. Obadiah Mailafia, who is a former Deputy Governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria. He was also a former special advisor to President Goodluck Jonathan on economic and policy matters. He is currently the presidential candidate of the African Democratic Congress, and he joins me now live in the studios. Dr. Obadiah, nice having you, like always, in our studios.
Thank you so very much. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here. And I always say, great nation, good people.
Is that your party slogan?
No, our party slogan is Arise and Shine.
Oh.
We normally say ADC, Arise and Shine. A, D, and C.
This is becoming too similar to the medium you're right on now, Arise News. Well, definitely it has no correlation, you know, because we too were always rising and shining.
It means we're of like minds.
Well, Nigerians will decipher that by the time you reel out what's you're coming into this race for. But let's look at your party. It's just standing on a tripod. It's standing on the former glory of the former president of Nigeria, metamorphosing from the third force to today's ADC. Little is known about ADC. What's unique or what's the novelty about your party?
ADC actually is the fastest growing political party in Africa, I dare say. We are one of the younger ones, but within the space, we have actually grown to be number 3 after PDP and APC. We were neck and neck with SDP, but they have gone into one legal tussle and the other. We don't know when they're going to come out.
But 3 of you, came out from the same embryonic circles. PT, the People's Trust, SDP, and ADC. You're not mentioning People's Trust?
Well, indeed, there are a few others, yes, indeed, but you know, everyone looks after their own, and my mandate is from the ADC, the African Democratic Congress, and our philosophy and our ethos is to build a new Nigeria under the banner of mobilizing the youth and empowering women, because those two are the majority in this country.
Is it like it's been done now, the market money something? You know, all the candidates come, they want to build a new Nigeria. Is a recurring slogan, you know, it's like a broken record. How do you want to build?
We're doing things completely differently. These women think they're doing is literally trying to bribe people. They know they've performed very badly. They are in power, and they believe the only way out now is to go to Wuse Market, Garki Market, Nyanya Market, and be bribing women, hoping that. But Nigerians,
you call it bribe, they call it empowerment.
Well, I call it bribe because they should have done it much earlier. Why is it only now they are doing it? They are doing it in order to hoodwink the electorate. But Nigerians are not fools. They know that they cannot sell their birthright for a measure of pottage.
But they've been doing it. We've seen how money politics is money. You give money and vote buying.
Well, again, the ADC itself is opposed to that. We don't like that policy of, you know, monetizing the civic culture and the civic obligations, civic responsibility and duties of all citizens. But I think the incumbent government has carried it too far. They've gone into what they did or shown is scandalous. What they did in Ekiti is equally scandalous. A lot of money bags descended on it, and they brought the whole armada of federal might and security might, you know, literally killing ants with sledgehammers. This is what they did. A peace-loving small state like Ekiti was descended upon by the federal might to crush any hope of the opposition. So, you know, we are into a different and more dangerous phase in our democracy. That is why some of us have come in. Okay. We have never defrauded the state. We have never defrauded the state. We have never laid our hands to use violence against innocent people. We are here to give our country back to our people. We're here to dry the tears of widows and orphans who've been slaughtered, killed, and maimed under the watch of this government. We're going to do things differently.
How differently are you going to do things? What are you going to do? What are the checks that you're going to put in place over the insecurity, that is so rife in the Northeast, even though the government says they are, they've technically defeated Boko Haram, but we'll see the annihilation of men and officers of the Nigerian military, in what you might want to call cold blood murder by these Islamist insurgents. So what is ADC and you, as its presidential candidate or president to be, would do differently from what they're doing now?
Let me assure you, we have a study group that has been working and thinking deeply on this issue of insecurity. We've mapped out a strategy. We have a blueprint on how to tackle it. It would be wrong of me, or even foolish of me, to lay out this to the enemies.
Want to know.
To the enemies of this country.
You're speaking to Nigerians. You want to convince them why they should follow ADC, why they should follow you.
Okay.
Why are they not saying, the hand of Esau and the voice of Jacob in your candidacy, knowing that it metamorphosed from a former president of Nigeria, Chief Obasanjo? So tell Nigerians what you are going to do.
Obasanjo is a patron, is the patron of the ADC, but he allows us the latitude, to develop the party the way we want. He's like a father there, giving advice from time to time. He doesn't really control the party. It is a truly democratic party by the name that it has. Look, we understand what is going on. The government of the day doesn't understand. And I'm sorry to say Nigerians don't trust this government to tackle the insecurity, because there's a lot of suspicion that there is even Boko Haram in the government. This is the truth of the matter. That is why,
you say.
Yes, suspicion. And there is never smoke without fire, we are told. And there are mysterious killings going on of former retired, very senior military officials who are allegedly privy to certain information that can be very damaging. That is why they are being taken out in such a callous and wicked manner. We are going to stop all that. We will mobilize the people of this country. And I'm echoing the language of Sir Winston Churchill, the great British wartime Prime Minister. We will fight them in the desert. We will fight them in the hills. We will fight them in Zambesa forest. We will fight them in the creeks. We will defeat them. We will mobilize all our people. We will put in place technology. We will take the battle to the enemy. We will not allow the enemy to take the battle to us. We are going to defeat them. I can assure you, we will undertake total mobilization. They are fighting not a normal war. It is an asymmetrical warfare, using guerrilla warfare and using a doctrine known as fitna. It's an Arab doctrine of war that I will hound you and pound you for years until you give up. Now, we would like to take the battle to them. We'll mobilize all our people. We'll mobilize our hunters. We'll mobilize our vigilantes. We'll bring back even retired soldiers. We will move to that area. We will close our borders until further notice. Until all our neighbors give us iron cast guarantees that we are not going to have armed mercenaries crossing their borders to kill people in our country. The Nigerian
border is very porous. Are you going to build a wall if you emerge president of Nigeria? Would you build a wall across Nigeria's borders?
I wouldn't go so far as a wall, but most people know the primary routes.
Why would you go so far when we've been told that headsmen from neighboring countries, even as far as Sudan, are part of the killer headsmen invading the farms in Nigeria and communities?
We are going to register all of them. And all aliens in this country will be fully registered. Under the ECOWAS protocol, they have 3 months to stay. After 3 months, they must go, or get permanent residencies. We are going to enforce that law. We'll take any number of measures, because for us in the ADC, all human life is precious. The lives of the Nigerian people, of mothers, daughters, sons, are very precious. And, you know, we are concerned. We are going to bring Muslims and Christians together. We'll bring all our communities together.
They've always been together, haven't they?
Well, the leaders of today have divided us.
How?
They have done all kinds of things. They are playing politics of bigotry. They are playing politics of nepotism.
The president is a Muslim, and the vice president is a pastor of a very popular church worldwide.
Well, I don't know about that. All I know is that there's a lot of bigotry in this government. There's a lot of nepotism. And they've been doing everything to divide us. They are playing a new politics of religion. A lot of people believe that what is happening in Nigeria is tantamount to global jihad in our country. That is why we must stop it. This nonsense, this stupidity will be stopped under my watch. And nobody can accuse me of bigotry. We're going to form a people's government. A government that will be for all the people of Nigeria. I will not look at your face. I will look at what you have to contribute to Nigeria. Not your religion, not where you come from. We're going to build a new country anchored on excellence and merit. Okay,
Dr. Obadiah, you said when talking about how to secure Nigeria, its land, air, and sea space, you talked about going into the creeks. And you know the challenges people of the Niger Delta have been facing, most precious resource that they have. They don't have any form of control over it. The PIGB bill, which has been passed, is yet to become an act. What would you be doing to regenerate the Niger Delta region? Would you give the people there and the people of Nigeria the powers to own their own economy around them, talking about mining and the rest?
Well, let me just make it very clear. The Niger Delta is very close to my heart. Ken Wiwa Jr., who died earlier this year, was a bosom friend of mine. We discussed with him for hours upon hours, for days and weeks and months, the tragedy that has befallen his people that even led to the death of his father, Ken Sarawiwa. And he died of a heart attack. And, you know, the death and the hanging of his father haunted him for years. And my heart goes out to the people of the Niger Delta. So I would do all I can for them. First of all, we have to clean up the rivers and the streams. We have to stop all this burning of gas that has destroyed the environment of there. And we will make the
That's your economic plan you want to outline now.
Yes,
because
exactly.
Gas is in abundance than the crude, you know, that the country's economy rely on.
There's a lot of flaring going on, and we're going to put a stop to that, because there's enough technology to make sure that you can drill oil without having to flare it to that extent. The oil companies have shortchanged that massively. We will impose a heavy tax on flaring, and that tax will be plowed back to the local communities. There should be a huge amount of an endowment fund for all the children of the Niger Delta, free education, free health care, free education up to doctoral level, and automatic jobs in the oil industry for qualified people there. And I'm going to look at the Niger Delta Development Commission. I am not satisfied at all that the money being poured to it is reflected in what is actually on ground for the people of the Niger Delta. We're going to look at the model again. We're going to double the endowment to the Niger Delta, but we shall make sure that this investment reaches ordinary people. There's still a lot of poverty there. In fact, for example, Akwa Ibom, which is a huge oil state with huge amounts of money, is among the most desperately poor regions of this country. A lot of fine roads with no judgment against anybody in Akwa Ibom. But I talk to young people, university students, and so on and so forth, and a lot, their greatest fear is lack of jobs. I get desperate calls.
I think that's universally a Nigerian problem,
Not
as reeled out by the Nigerian Bureau of Statistics. But I was looking at a situation where I would ask you, you know, when we'll go after we return from a break, to reel out some of your economic policies.
I will do that.
You get the point,
sure.
all right? So
the point I'm making is that the amount of money there should not lead to this level of poverty and this level of youth unemployment the way we are seeing it. There's no justification for it. We can do better than that.
Okay, let's look at the ADC. Let's try and underscore the present situation of unemployment in Nigeria, where the National Bureau of Statistics says over 20.3 million Nigerians are unemployed.
Yes.
The aggregation of youths there may be over 90% if a further statistics is done, because thousands and thousands of Nigerians are turned out, you know, from universities and other tertiary institutions without anywhere to go. Will ADC, how will ADC redress this growing phenomenon?
You know, there is one thing that in economic circles in this country we never talk about: full employment. Full employment is a situation where unemployment is not more than 3%. You know, there are many countries like that. Norway, you know, Iceland, Qatar, unemployment is as low as 3%. That is considered, in fact, full employment, you know, because there are some people that no matter what probably don't want to work and don't wish to work, you know. But I would focus on the goal of full employment. We have pursued a model
not driven by government. I mean, not government employment here now.
Not really,
where we're talking of over 5 million civil servants in Nigeria, and in the whole of America that is 10 times the size of this country. Both federal, state, and the county or local government employees are less than how many millions?
Yeah, about 3 million, 3 to 4 million. That's all.
So
that's the public service in this country.
So what economic policy are you really going to drive to save this recurrent expenditure on government?
The first thing is that we need to change the model of development. This model of development based on petrodollar rentier economy is no longer sustainable, because oil itself is not a heavy employer of labor. Most of the drilling is now done offshore. You just need a heavy machinery and a few people who are trained. They are just school leavers, they're not even graduates, to drill the oil offshore. So it doesn't employ so many people. The pipelines don't need so many people, and so on. So we need to diversify this economy desperately. I would also go for the use of public works approach instead of, you know, just giving a huge contracts to multinational corporations, investors. You give the contracts to, you know, using direct labor. You get local, you know, consultants and local contractors, and, you know, allow them to recruit thousands of workers, train them, and use them on the high roads, in public works, in public construction. That is a major step. We also need to boost agriculture. We also need to boost ICT. There are various areas that you can really expand, you know, employment opportunities. We also need to deal with the educational curriculum. Our current educational curriculum puts a heavy emphasis in humanities and social sciences. In China, 70% of all graduates are in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Only 30% are in the humanities. In Africa, we have reversed the equation. 70% are in the humanities and arts, and only 30% are in the sciences. We need to train people and change the curriculum so to equip people with the tools that they need to become employable and to become employers also of labor.
How are you going to do this through the educational system? You just said, well, you're going to make 70% engineers, scientists, and the rest, and maybe doctors, and what have you. How about technical education, which used to thrive in your own time then?
No, that is part of it. That is part of it. At the higher level, you have the STEM disciplines, science, technology, engineering, mathematics. At the intermediate level, technical schools. We are going to produce a network of technical colleges throughout this country.
Was that not what the monotechnics were meant for, polytechnics and monotechnics?
But are they really doing that? I'm not saying that they're actually doing that, you know. So, and I hear they're all going to become universities. That's what we heard on the news. I don't know how far it is, but I am not convinced that the current government. By the way, they're trying to put more emphasis on studying Arabic than on studying sciences, and I think that is worthless. You know, I live in the Arab world and I speak a bit of Arabic myself, but I don't think the problems of Nigeria have to do with Arabic. The problems of Nigeria today is science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. We are going to use a mix of incentives and direct action to, you know, sway people. Like, for example, if you give full scholarships to all girl students studying science, there will be a full federal government scholarship. That will, you know, drive a lot of people to compete in order to get into science disciplines. And then, of course, you can give half scholarships to the boys if you are studying engineering. We say you don't pay any school fees at all. So that will be a huge incentive for people to go to science, technology, and engineering. And then you improve the industrial training. In Germany, before you graduate, you would have spent almost 2 years, you know, doing practical work in a factory, in an industry. So that when you graduate, you can hit the ground running. We need to introduce those kinds of curricula, you know, to help, you know, revamp our industrial sector and create jobs for millions and millions of people.
Okay, Dr. Obadiah, you were once a former deputy governor of the central bank. So let's talk some econometrics more now, away from education. Mm-hmm. What will you be doing differently from today's central bank, which seems to be stabilizing the naira against the dollar and some of the major currencies, which has said that it has reduced Nigeria's food import bills from over $500 million, I think, monthly or thereabout, to just under 50 million naira today. This administration is claiming the success. What will your own government, the ADC government, you as president, with your vast experience in econometrics, be doing?
Well, you know, I think they've done relatively well with regard to the Anchor Borrowers Program. But I would ask, at what cost? The cost has been very prohibitive. And at the end of the day, that is not the role of a central bank. The central bank is getting itself involved in things that don't necessarily concern the central bank. They need to go back to the actual function of a central bank, which is anchored on monetary stability, ensuring financial system stability, keeping inflation low, and, you know, looking after the naira and make sure that it is stable and so on. There are a lot of issues that concern me. Number one, I think there's a lot of interference with the work of the central bank. There's a lot of political interference. On paper, our central bank is autonomous, but in practice, there's a lot of political capture.
That was what you witnessed that during your own time?
No. It was far less. There was a bit of it, but it's far more the case now. It's very chronic. For example, look, we are keeping almost 7 levels of exchange rates. Why? So if I know you and you know me, I can give you dollars at 200 to naira.
Government expect that 305 for the 2019 budget.
Well, that is what it says. Then you give some people 200, you give some people even 190, you give some people 305, and then multiple rates for different people. This is extortion, and it opens up room for serious corruption. It must be stopped. But you see, The people that are benefiting from that don't want it to stop. And it is the Nigerian economy that is suffering as a consequence. I will do things differently. I will ensure the autonomy of the central bank. You need an autonomous central bank run by professionals who know what they're doing and who have a national mission. Look, we are committed to building a world-class $1 trillion economy in the next 5 years. And you can't do it the way things are being run.
How is the ADC government going to do it?
How are we going to do it?
Yeah.
We have 4 pillars.
Okay.
First, we are going to enforce the peace, because without peace and security, nothing can be done. 2, we are going to invest in people. People are the new wealth of nations. We are going to invest in our young people. We are going to invest in training and skills. We are going to invest in research and innovation. And the 3rd P is power. Power and infrastructures. From day one, I will pass an executive order to the effect that all government buildings must have solar panels on top of them. And we're not going to import the solar panels. We're going to bring manufacturers from abroad. Russia today has the best technology.
Why do you want to bring manufacturers from abroad when you have universities of science and technology in Nigeria, when you have engineering, science and technology and engineering agencies of government?
Well,
some are research institutions. Why go and, you know, expend the scarce foreign exchange again to bring in technology that is everywhere? Why?
Is it everywhere?
Would that not be squandermania again for the scarce resources?
Do you know of a Nigerian company that has invented a new solar technology? Do you know of one?
They're there. I'm telling you that wouldn't it be better to use agencies of government, research institutions, creation of the federal government to propagate this?
I think you are asking the wrong question. You are asking the wrong question because you are asking as if it is an either or. It's not a binary issue. When I say we are going, listen to me. When I say we are going to bring manufacturers, I don't mean I'm going to exclude or downgrade the local ones. We'll bring that. Russia today has the best technology in solar technology. They have the best. Their rate of efficiency is almost 70%. Compared to the Chinese that are hovering around 30–40%, and the Japanese maybe 50%. The Russians have it because it's the coldest, part of the world.
The world, yeah.
So they've had to go that extra mile to be able to extract solar energy. And I will partner with them or with others that are equally good. And I will come here and I will partner. They will partner with local industries and local researchers, to train our people in the manufacture of the solar panels, because the easiest solution is just simply to import them. But that will not help us very much. We need them to install here, to build the technology here, and to train our young people. Thousands will be trained on manufacturing of solar panels, installation of solar panels, and maintenance of the solar panels. Think of what that will do for the power sector.
I want you now,
rural schools,
Dr.
rural clinics,
Mailafia Obadiah,
yes.
in one sentence, because your time is almost up here. Tell Nigerians why they should vote for ADC in the upcoming February elections. Why they should vote for you as president.
You should vote for us for 3 reasons. Number 1, we are new and we are different. We are totally different from these old, recycled, corrupt politicians. Bring them back again and you're going to destroy this country. They're on the way to destroying your country already.
And 2?
Number 2, we have what it takes. Our blueprint is very original. We have an original approach. I mentioned 3 P's. The last P, of course, is prosperity. We're going to ensure prosperity. So peace, people, power, and prosperity.
Fantastic.
The third goal, the third reason why you should vote for ADC is because your humble servant, Obadiah Mailafia, is the leader of that party. Look, we have not defrauded this country. We have the fear of God in us. We have the fire in the belly. We will fight for the rights of our people. We will take our country back. Not only that, all people in government will have a performance contract.
Fantastic.
You will perform. If you are not performing, you are out.
Thank you very much, Dr. Mailafia Obadiah. He's the presidential candidate of the ADC. The ADC metamorphosed from the third force. Thanks, like always, for being with us on Nigeria.
We're the third force.
Yeah, from Nigeria, on Nigeria 2019, and we wish you all the best in the forthcoming general election.
Thank you.